Okay, we've got absolute value inequalities. There are two types of inequalities, less than or greater than. Of course, you can have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, but they fall into those two categories, less than or greater than. Each one is solved differently when absolute value is involved. The absolute value inequality less than is solved this way. When it is in the form of absolute value of A is less than B, you solve it as an and compound inequality. Remember that? Where you put the unknown in the middle and the smaller one on the left and the bigger one on the right. So we have negative B is less than A, which is less than B. You remember that, don't you? So let's try something. We've got 5x is less than 15. The absolute value of 5x is less than 15. So it tells you to solve it by putting it in the form of negative b is less than a is less than b. So let's write that over here. We've got negative b is less than a is less than b. So this is your b right here. So we put negative 15 is less than 5x is less than 15. So we draw a line down the inequality there. We divide by 5 to get rid of the 5. Divide by 5 here and divide by 5 here. Draw a line. We get negative 3 is less than x, which is less than 3. Okay, so that's our solution to the inequality. Then we come down here to graph it. And we put negative 3 and 0 and 3. We circle the negative 3, circle the 3, and then it goes from there to there. And that's the solution. All those would be the solutions for our problem. All right, n plus 2 is less than or equal to 4. Once again, I'm going to write this up here for you. Negative b is less than a is less than b. All right, so the unknown thing is what always goes in the middle. And this is going to be 4, so instead of 4, we're going to put negative 4 is less than or equal to n plus 2, which is less than or equal to 4. Draw our lines. We add 2, and add 2. That gives us negative 2 is less than or equal to n, which is less than or equal to 6. Come down here to graph it. We put negative 2, we put 0, and we put 6. It says or equal to, so that means we color in our dot. Color in our dot here at 6. And it goes from there to there. Okay. I believe it's your turn now. So let me write this up here for you. Negative b is less than a, which is less than b. Remember, this is your b. This is the a. Okay, so try this one. Pause the video, try this one, and then come back to me. Okay, so now, did you write negative 11 is less than 3x minus 4 is less than 11? Is that what you got? Okay, now we go line, line. Look, those look like 4s now. But anyway, we go plus 4 and plus 4 and plus 4. And that gives us negative 7 is less than 3x is less than 15. We divide by 3, divide by 3, and divide by 3. And that gives us negative 7 thirds is less than x is less than 5. So we want to graph that. Did you do this? Let's see. Got our line, we've got 0, and we've got 5. 7/3. 7 divided by 3 is 2. So it's a little bit more than 2, a little bit more than -2. So here's 2 and 3. So it's a little bit more than 2. So we'll put it right here. And it's not closed in because it doesn't say or equal to. And the 5 is not closed in. And it goes from there to there. I hope that you got that right. All right, absolute value inequalities that involve greater than. When it's in the form of absolute value of A is greater than B, you solve it as an OR compound inequality. So you say A is less than -B or A is greater than B. So let's try that. All right, so we've got 8n is greater than 24. So the way we set that up is we go 8n is greater than 24, and we go 8n is less than -24. Okay? So that gives us line, divide by 8, divide by 8, n is greater than 3. And over here we divide by 8 and divide by 8, and we get n is less than -3. Now it's time to graph. We've got 3, -3, and 0 and 3. It says n is greater than 3, so we draw our circle and our line. And then it says n is less than -3, so we draw our circle and our line. And that's the graph of one that has greater than involved in it. You notice it's an OR, there's a split between the two of them. There's no union in the graph. All right, we've got 5x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 7. Write our two equations. 5x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 7, the exact same equation. And then you change it with this one. 5x minus 8 is less than or equal to, and you change it to -7. So we go plus 8, plus 8. We have 5x is greater than or equal to 15. Divide by 5 and divide by 5. And that gives us x is greater than or equal to 3. Over here we're going to do plus 8 and plus 8. And that gives us 5x is less than or equal to 1. Divide by 5, divide by 5. And that gives us x is less than or equal to 1/5. So we graph this one. Here's 0. Well, I could have put that over a little bit. Let's undo that. So we could have put 0 right here, 1 here, and 3 here. So we've got x is greater than or equal to 3, so we color it in. And it says greater than, so that's to the right. And it says x is less than or equal to 1/5. 1/5 is just a little bit more than 0. So we put it here and color it in. And it says less than or equal to, so that's to the left. Your turn. All right, try this one. Pause the video. Do your best. Come back and see how we did. Okay, now we've got -3d is greater than or equal to 6.3, just like it is up there, except without the absolute value bars. And then we write -3d is less than or equal to -6.3. So we go divide by -3, divide by -3. Whoops. That gives us d. Remember now, whenever you divide by a negative, that means that you got to flip the inequality. So we divided by a negative, so that means we flip this and it becomes less than or equal to, and 6.3 divided by 3 is -2.1. Then over here, we draw our line, divide by -3, Divide by negative 3. That gives us D, and we flip our sign, remember. So that becomes greater than or equal to 2.1 because negative divided by negative gives us positive. Let's see how that worked out down here. We've got 0 and negative 2.1, and we've got 2.1. We just write it like that. It's okay. And this says greater than or equal to 2.1, so we color it in and go to the right. This is less than or equal to negative 2.1, so we color it in and go to the left. I hope that you got that right.